Alright. Think I got everything set up over here. Yeah. Okay. Today we have a very special stream. What up, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. If you have been following my channel, you know that I'm no stranger to tier lists. We've made a bunch of tier lists already. I've made a tier list about the best items for Udyr, the best runes for Udyr. I think there was a third tier list I made as well, but I forgot what it was about. Might have been mythic items. I'm not sure. Anyway, fact is, there's another tier list that I've been thinking about doing, I haven't done. It's probably the biggest tier list yet, because there might be a lot of items and there might be a lot of runes, but there's a hell lot of more champions. So this is every champion in League of Legends, about 160 I think, and we're gonna sort them by how annoying they are. Absolute on the top is the S tier, of course. Remove that champion, just get it out of here, I never want to see it again, right? Wish I had another ban is the A tier. It's like, I wish I would see you less, but it's okay if I see you sometimes, just to remind myself, hey, there's these kind of champions and there's those kind of champions. Then there's like the neutral tier. You alright, kid. You know, it kind of depends on the player, depends on the day you're having. They can be okay, right? Then we go to the, oh hey pal. It's like, oh, I haven't seen this one in a while, you know, I ain't mad about that. Oh, you were released in like, what, 2013? I didn't know you get played anymore. How about that, right? And the absolute best, of course, being, it's been a pleasure. Having that champion in your team or even the enemy team is almost always a good experience. Now, of course, this one will be reserved for the absolute creme de la creme. Not a lot of champions will be able to go in there, but I can already tell you there's going to be a lot in the upper tiers. There's a lot of annoying champions. Obviously, I will only do all the champions up to Aurora, which is the newest champion release, but all the champions that come after Aurora, let's be real, they would be like upper tier here anyway, because every champion being released is fucking 100, 200 year design. Okay? Alright, anyway. Oh, there's one more thing I should address. Of how I'm gonna rate the champions. What to me is an annoying champion, right? There's multiple things that go into that. So one thing, of course, is the champion OP. Is it broken, right? It's usually no fun playing against something that is broken. Right, so that's one point. The other point is like, how fun is the design of the champion? Like, if you're playing, for instance, against just random example, Darius, right? Darius can be frustrating to play against because he just kind of runs you down and he can't really miss his hook, so you feel like, ugh, there's so little counterplay, right? That is also annoying, right? It's not strictly OP. I wouldn't actually say Darius is OP. I know, crazy. But he's frustrating, right? So there's also a point. And obviously, all of this is very subjective. It's a tier list I'm making. I have my own opinions. So I'm an Udyr main. So some people would say, hey, aren't you like predisposed to saying, hey, this champion only annoys you because it's bad for Udyr? We're gonna weigh in all of that. I'm gonna try to keep it as objective as possible, but at the end of the day, I'm human, we're all human, right? I'm gonna try and make the best decisions here. And if you feel like you have any like input to give, you're like, hey, this champion sucks for that and that reason, let me know, type in the chat, you know. This is the first time I'm making a tier list live. So far, I've always just made it as a video. So this is the first time I'm doing it live. If we're talking about a champion, for instance, first one coming up here, Aatrox. I personally fucking hate Aatrox, but if you have something good or bad to say about him, well, let me know, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. Aatrox. Remove that champion. I know, strong start, very strong start, but hear me out. There is another thing that can make a champion annoying, and that is repetitiveness. Aatrox has been the most picked top laner, the most popular top laner for, I'm not even kidding, like 2 seasons straight. You see him every fucking game, and I'm so tired of the matchup. I don't care about this guy anymore, man. I don't want to see him no more. The matchup is so boring. But aside from that, it's like not even a fun one to play, right? There's champions, for instance Ezreal, that I like. Ezreal is one of the most popular ADCs ever. He's getting picked a lot, but I'm not annoyed at him, right? His E, which is straight up a flash, seems broken on paper, but it has a 20-second cooldown on rank 1, and he doesn't max it, right? So he has to hit Qs to actually get the cooldown lower again, right? So there's like, you can play around it. But with Aatrox, there's no playing around this shit, right? Like, he uses his Q, and you sidestep it, and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna do my second Q. You try to sidestep it, he just combines his Q with his E dash, he always hits it. Unless you have a dash or flash as well, you can't outplay it. You either face tank it, or, you know, you dodge it. And if he, by some miracle, actually misses his second Q as well, he just holds his third Q. He just holds the third Q, right? And as a melee champion, so this is where I'm a little bit, you know, biased, because I play melee champions a lot. But as a melee champion, now that Aatrox missed 2 Qs, you feel like, hey, I can engage here. But he just holds his third Q, so you would have to eat that if you engage. He disrupts you with his knockup and he deals tons of damage. And the best thing about this is his Q cooldown goes down while he's holding his Qs. Q cooldown doesn't start when the last Q runs out. It's insane. I don't think there's much room to argue. I think Aatrox is broken, annoying, and picked way too often. Remove that champion, bro. I ain't kidding. Remove that champion. What's that thing after Diana? Yeah, I've been wondering about this. It's creepy as hell. I think it's a dolphin. It's a dolphin on a night cam. Like night vision camera. It's very creepy. I think the guy who made the tier list allowed himself a little bit of trolling, putting that in here. Here's what I think happened, right? So it's sorted alphabetically. This is Diana, this is Dr. Mundo. In between Diana and Dr. Mundo in the alphabet is Dolphin. And this guy had all of these champions pictures saved on his PC. And somehow this Dolphin picture got in there. And he was just like, throw it in. Fuck it. Yeah, and the thing is, Aatrox, it feels like playing against a ranged champion. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. He gets all the benefits of a melee champion, but he really does feel like a ranged champion. A ranged champion with hard CC. Ugh. Okay, next up, Ahri. Ahri has similar problems to Aatrox, that being, she's very popular. She is picked very, very often, so it's getting kind of boring to play against her. That being said though, counterplay against her feels very satisfying. If she chooses to dash into your face to hit her charm, she now just got into your melee range, and it's dangerous for her, right? If she chooses to not dash that close to you, you can actually sidestep the charm. It's very sidesteppable. And if she doesn't hit the charm, you know, you cannot dodge all her other shit. That being said, and that's not really Ahri's fault, but Riot is pouring way too much love on Ahri. Way too much. I don't know when this started. I think like 1 season ago, 1.5, with like her small visual update she got. After that, it was just like Ahri buff after Ahri buff after Ahri skin after Ahri buff. Like she's constantly getting these special treatments. So she's annoying to play against. But with thinking about what other champions are still in this roster that we have to go through, I couldn't get her into wish I had another ban. Feel free to argue with me on this one. Let me know what you think about Ahri, but I think she goes into, you alright, kid. I could actually see myself playing a game of Ahri if she gets like a sick skin, or I pull a skin out of a chest and I'm like, fuck it, let's play her. You know? It's not a terrible champion. Design-wise, actually a big W, but that's not what we're talking about. Why it is popular? Yeah, we don't need cheap viewers. Alright, what else? Akali, my god. What is it with the alphabet and it sorted being by the most annoying champions? I see a lot of champions in the A letters that are very annoying. I don't think there's much room to argue here. Akali goes straight into remove that champion, right? I mean, we talking about a champion that has 4 dashes. 4 dashes. 4 dashes, instant invisibility, recovers all her energy so she can spam her spells again. Speaking of spamming, her Q got a lower than 2-second cooldown and she can use it while she's moving. It's like, what doesn't this champion get? It's the epitome of being overloaded. Also, fun thing, you know, Akali uses her E, tries to hit you, she misses you. If she hits her cloud, like her smoke cloud, she can just dash to the smoke cloud. Sure, why not? Yeah, good, that's a great idea, yeah. You know why that is? You know why that actually is, that Akali can dash to her smoke cloud? Here's why that is. Riot codes everything as minions when they make a champion. Everything is a minion. Like, think of, for instance, of Jace Portal. Jace Portal is like a 1 minion and another minion combined with a line in the middle. Fucking every Heimerdinger turret is of course a portal. Every Heimerdinger missile is a minion, right? All of this is a minion. So when they made Akali, and she was still bugged at the start, you could dash with your E into your cloud because it was like hitting a minion. And then they were like, huh, this is a bug, but this is fun. Let's keep it as a feature. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get angry talking more about Akali. No, that's just a straight up remove that champion, no discussion to be had, right? Aksham seems overloaded, but he isn't. His kit could be reworded so easily. What do you mean by reworded? Why would that change if it's overloaded or not? Counter argument. The average Akali player has an IQ so low they outplay themselves. Daryl, you bring up a good point. That's something I keep talking about when I play against Kayn and Echo. I have this theory that players who play champions with a lot of dashes, like Kayn, Akali, Echo, they don't know what it means to be out of position. They are never out of position because they have this much fucking mobility and recovery, right? So the player ends up being like going way too deep and not knowing their limits. They could play way safe and like literally never die, but they just keep outplaying themselves. But like, if you're playing against a good Akali or a good Echo, my god, it's pain, it's pain. Same thing goes for Irelia. I mean, we talk about Irelia when we get to Irelia. She's down here. We're going after the alphabet. To me, even if an Irelia like is not good, the fact that she can trade all her health, all her mana for health just by Q spamming minions and stacking her passive is fucking crazy. I give my vote to put Udyr in to remove that champion. Kayaku, we actually talked about Udyr for a second already. We're gonna get to it when we get to it. One champion after another, okay. I'm not saying Udyr is like perfect. I'm not biased. I know Udyr is annoying. I'm not gonna put him in like it's been a pleasure tier. He's definitely like in the you alright kid. Maybe even in the wish I had another ban. But talk about it when we get there. Talk about it when we get there. Yes, that's a dolphin. That's in fact a dolphin on a night vision camera. No comment. Anyway, Akshan. Quitter, I don't know what your point is with saying that Akshan's kit is not overloaded. It doesn't matter how you phrase what his kit does. Overloaded means that one ability does like a million different things, right? And if we talk about Akshan W, for instance, right, it makes him invis, right? It gives him extra movement speed and regen, I think. It makes like a Warwick trail appear so he can track enemies, and it revives your allies if you kill said enemy. That's like 4 things in one ability, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's just too much. Akshan can't have that much shit going on. Why can't champions these days just have one passive? Why do they have to have a passive and then a Q with an active and a passive and a W with an active and a passive? You know what I mean? That's overloaded. That's just too much. Why you gotta do all that? Now, Akshan, it's not as bad as when he was released. There is some counterplay to Akshan. But he's high up there. We might put him even higher later. For now, I'm gonna put him in the wish I had another ban. Like, remove that champion. Absolute S tier dogshit champions got to be a little bit higher. Thing with Akshan is there's some counterplay. For instance, his E, like his rope swing, you can actually interrupt it by body blocking it. It's kind of interesting. Same goes with his ultimate. You can body block it, like Caitlyn ult, for your teammates. If you're playing a tanky champion, you can just hold it, right? He relies a lot on auto attacks because of his double auto attack passive. So that means if you get something like Thornmail, he gets twice as much Thornmail damage, right? So there is counterplay to it, but at the end of the day, champion is overloaded and kind of cringe. Only overloaded abilities W. To be honest, passive has the numbers right and Q and it's not about the numbers. It's about the effects it gives. Hold on. Are we really having this discussion? Like, I appreciate you weighing in, but let's not delude ourselves. This shit does way too much, man. Like, he throws the boomerang, it applies the passive 2 times, the range gets extended by minions it hits, he gains movement speed because of it, because why the fuck not, right? Like, everything does 3 things at once. Oh, it reveals enemies as well, of course, right? Like, it deals damage, it reveals them, it gives them movement speed, it applies as passive, range gets extended on hit. Why it gotta do all that? Right? Why not just 1 or 2 things? Why 4 or 5 things? You know what I mean? Look at this text, man! Nah. Nah, bro, nah. Absolutely not. Alright, Alistar. Alistar, same problem as Aatrox and Ahri. He gets picked a lot. Every time when worlds come around, right? And support players with stars in their eyes, they see the pros play support, and they see the pros pick nothing else but Rel and Alistar. Of course, they're gonna copy that and play Rel and Alistar. I'd much rather see more enchanters. I think melee supports are just straight up stronger than enchanters, and that's kind of sad. They're super stat checky. That being said, though, Alistar is an OG, and his kit is pretty much the same as on release. So I kind of like him. Also, what's interesting about Alistar is that rarely Alistar builds the same stuff, right? There's Alistars who play aggressive and they go like Zeke's Convergence, but there's also Alistars who play safe and they go Locket of the Iron Solari plus Knight's Vow and like protect their carry at all cost, right? There's also Alistars. I recently had one in my team as support who was full AP Alistar. Right? That's the thing that old champions often have, is these wacky scalings. He has like 70% on Q, 80% on W, right? Just straight up AP scalings for some fucked up reason. So although you see him a lot, that actually speaks for him that I'm not annoyed by him. So I'm gonna give him the "oh hey pal" tier. I'm not mad about Alistar actually. Maybe that's because of the champions I play. I play like melee champions that are good frontliners. For instance, Udyr. If an Alistar W Qs me, I just stand there, tank the hard CC, and I'm like, hey, I'm glad my carry didn't get hit by that hard CC, and this Alistar is not going anywhere because now we hit him with the reverse lockdown, right? I'm not, I mean, maybe that's just me. There might be like 80 carry players who would put Alistar on the absolute remove that champion tier list because Alistar's W is a point and click, right? So there's not much counterplay to it. If Alistar wants to WQ you, he's most of the time gonna be able to do it. But he has long cooldowns, I feel like it's fair. Alright, anyway. Amumu. Amumu probably has one of the most easily dodgeable spells with his Q. The hitbox is a bit wider than one might expect, but that doesn't change the fact it has a lot of wind up. And it doesn't have like a fast travel speed. So you can see Amumu Q coming. And if he misses his Q, he is like self-stunning himself because he has to stop walking for a second to throw his Q. So if you dodge Amumu Q, the chase is pretty much over for him. He has to hit it. If he doesn't get in range, he's just straight up useless. So he has to like play smart around it. On top of that, I feel like what makes Amumu great is that he's not on a solo adventure. There's a lot of champions these days that are just on solo adventures. They just want to single-handedly carry the game. But we have to remind ourselves, it's a MOBA, it's a team game, right? And Amumu is what I like to call a team enhancer. If you have a team with a lot of magic damage, Amumu just goes great with that. Because when he applies his passive, all magic damage dealt to the enemies gets a true damage bonus. So you go in with Amumu and you hit that QR combo and your team follows up with magic AoE. It's the best feeling ever. So it's really great to have Amumu in your team. But I'm also not mad about having him in the enemy team because there is counterplay against him and lots of it. I feel like the champion is almost kind of weak. It's been a pleasure. I'm never mad about seeing Amumu in either my team or the enemy team. He's an OG. Yo, Nico, what's up? Dude, I'm surprised everyone keeps spotting the dolphin. Took me very long to see him, actually. It's the dolphin, I don't know why it's here. I didn't make this tier list. I'm just using it. Alright, next up. Anivia. Now this is the first time I will say this champ is pissing me off because of the champions I play. I play melee champions, I play on-hit champions, and it's impossible to touch Anivia. Her ult is pretty much instant, so she has the slow on you. While she has the slow on you, it's very hard, almost impossible to dodge her Q stun. Right, and even if you finally get to her, she can just wall in between you and her, and she's just gone. When I catch an Anivia, it's like the best feeling of the world because it never fucking happens. When it does happen, wow, I'm over the moon. She's very annoying to play against. That being said though, I have to be unbiased here. If you're not a melee champion, your chances against Anivia are not too shabby. Because her R range is actually very, very small. So if she's playing against another ranged champion, she has to hit her Q first without being able to slow the enemy or like, you know, lock him down. She has to hit her Q first and then she can do like RE follow-up. So actually pretty balanced and I'm not too mad about it. You don't see her very often. I wouldn't mind seeing her more often actually, because Anivia promotes like team fighting. And I think there should be more team fighting and less solo carrying in League of Legends. So, as an Udyr player, I would want to put her in the You Alright kit, or maybe even had another ban. But trying to be as objective as I can here, I think she actually deserves a oh hey pal, because she's never picked. She's one of the least picked champions. She's one of the least picked champions. True. Amumu's win rate did go fucking crazy. He got a hotfix buff, right? Hotfix nerf. They had to nerf Amumu right after patch 1419. Maybe I'm biased because I like to play Amumu a little bit. She can revive? Yeah, but her revive isn't broken, I'd say. I think her revive is fine. It's not as strong as Zac revive or Zillion revive. Only if Anivia is like under tower, she safely gets her revive through. Now that reminds me actually. Zac's revive is faster the later in the game he uses it, right? Does Anivia have the same thing? No, she doesn't. So no matter at what point in the game you are, the revive always takes 6 seconds. Always. Interesting. Zac's revive is like super fast in the late game. Anyway, next up. Annie. I don't think we're gonna complain about Annie. Annie is a very interesting champion. Most champions with pets, they don't like play hard around their pets. Like Malzahar, for instance, doesn't give a fuck about his little voidlings, right? And you could argue Yorick plays a lot around his maiden, but I've seen clips where Yorick is pushing one lane and the maiden is pushing another lane, which is crazy to me. Annie and Tibbers, they're just inseparable. If you move too far away from Tibbers as Annie, or vice versa, they just port back to each other. It's a cool design. I feel like we should have more champions that play so close around their pets. Ivern is a good example as well, although Ivern is very annoying. We'll get to why Ivern is fucking annoying. I think that's a rule move that champion tier list, but we'll get there. Annie, yeah, she has very stubby range. Her damage only starts getting good as soon as she has like 2 to 3 items. With 1 item, she's goddamn useless. To land a big AoE stun, she needs to have smite, flash up. So it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've never been like furious playing against an Annie. There's too much counterplay against her. Alright, next up, Aphelios. Aphelios, he's not that bad compared to when he was released. On release date, he was an absolute 200-year champion. In the right hands and with a good meta, we kind of see a glimpse of the OP Aphelios again, how he used to be. There's worse AD carries to play against. And honestly, I kinda have to respect people who play Aphelios, because he's a very difficult champion to play. I couldn't be bothered to learn this weird wacky kit. If he would still be as OP as on release, he would definitely be higher on the annoying tier champ list. But I'm gonna put him on the You Alright kit. He's alright. Okay, next up, Ashe. Ashe, I feel like, would be insanely broken if her ult would be faster. Her ult is so unreliable on long range. And if she uses it short range, it almost always hits. But it scales with AP, and the stun lasts a lot shorter then. So there's a lot of counterplay around her ult. And if you are a melee champion without dashes, you might get annoyed at her slow. But outside of that, what strength does she have, really? Almost all other AD carries out-damage her when it comes to consistent or burst damage. She really only got the slow thing going for her. So, I feel like that's a fucking design W. I might have to be a little bit biased here, I think. Because I play Ashe as well, sometimes. I really like cooldown reduction builds on Ashe, where you just spam W. You don't even play around your auto attacks, you just go Arcane Comet, lethality item build with like spell procs, and you just spam W from a whole screen away. Yeah. It's been a pleasure. She's also like a great team player. Ashe always makes catches for your team happen. It's nice to have her on your team. Okay, Aurelion Soul. That's a straight up no discussion type of champion. Wow. How far have we fallen from his rework? Remove that champion. Rapid fire, just all the reasons. I mean, his Q has 0 cooldown and costs barely any mana. He scales for fucking free. This champion rushes Rylai's Crystal Scepter just for this cancerous slow. Motherfucker can fly over walls. He can, while flying, use his Q, then interrupt his own Q to fly faster, and then start queuing again, because he feels like, oh, now I'm in safe range again. No, absolutely not. Absolute S tier, remove that champion, never want to see it again. Alright. Aurora. I haven't had the pleasure of playing with her all too often. I have had her in my enemy team like 2 times, I think. Like, not a lot. I've had her in my own team a lot of times. She's busted. She's straight up broken. The damage she deals is nuts. And I feel like she shouldn't deal this much damage, because she's kind of like a tricky champion, right? Kind of like a juking champion, because she got a dash that makes her invis. And she got another dash that knocks herself back and slows the enemy, right? And she has a movement speed bonus when she triggers her passive. And her ult lets her like dash from screen to screen, like left to right, up to down, right? She has like this entire juking kit, but she doesn't do any of the juking unless maybe she gets ganked, she runs away invis, and that's the end of that. Very non-interactive. She has way too much damage for what her kit should be. And it's an easy remove that champion tier. It might be a little bit unfair to put her that high in the tier. Honestly, this is how she is right now, right? She is a remove that champion tier because she hasn't been nerfed yet. When she gets severe nerfs, she might go down to I wish I had another ban. But as far as I'm concerned, remove that champion. Next up, Udyr. Honestly, pretty based. Udyr is the exact opposite from Aurora. You know, he has a very tricky ability kit that's not easy to make work. You have to put a lot of effort in, and he doesn't have the same damage as her. He's really good at like keeping enemies at bay, but that's what he's supposed to, right? He has like his servants that stop the enemy in their tracks. Yeah. He doesn't get picked often as well, so it's always a pleasure seeing him, you know. I'm gonna put him in the oh hey pal tier list. I wouldn't be mad about seeing him again. Alright, next up, Bard. Bard is another one of these overpicked supporters right now. One thing I really don't like about Bard is the 0 counterplay when it comes to his E. He uses his portal, right? He goes through the portal first, naturally. You go after him, he will 100% of the time always hit his Q. Because you followed the portal after him, and then the chase is just over. You can't catch up on that. It's very uninteractive. That being said, though, his ability kit is not broken. The only damaging ability he has is his Q. His W is a small heal, his E is a portal, and his R is a Zhonya's. And this Zhonya's can backfire as fuck. I always said there's a 50-50% chance if a Bard ult is gonna be good or not. Even if pro Bards hit an ultimate. Sometimes it's a setup, and sometimes it will just straight up save the enemy. Or fuck over their allies. Yeah, it's up to every Bard player how creative they can be with their ability usage to actually be useful for their team and be a nuisance to the enemy team. The only negative thing I have to say about him is I feel like his Q is not... There's not enough counterplay against his Q. And he is picked too often. I would like to see him a little bit less. I would like to put him in the oh hey pal, but I think he's more of a... He's alright. I could deal with seeing him a little bit less. I don't really understand her R. Why can't I leave her zone? I mean, it's kind of like Jarvan ult, you just can't. You can flash out of it though. I've tried that. You can flash out of it. I think Udyr Awakened E can actually run through it too. Because it's not a solid wall. It's a hard CC that knocks you back if you run into the wall. So if you're playing Udyr, Kratos, and Aurora uses her zone, just use Awakened E and run through it. Alright, next up, we got Bel'Veth. Very fucking annoying to play with. Against, I mean. She has 4 dashes. Need I say more, right? Her E is her main damaging tool. And for some fucked up reason, it also gives her a damage reduction. And this is what we call overloaded. This is what we call overloaded. Why would her main damage tool in fights be also the thing that protects her, right? With Udyr, it's especially annoying to play against her because you sidestep her W, you try to get in, she finally uses all of her dashes, and you hit that stun on her, and then she just hits E. She gets a huge damage reduction and puts tons of damage on you, and you have to disengage. You can't keep fighting in Bel'Veth E. And you disengage the E, she stops using E, you start chasing her again, and it starts all over. Her Q dashes are back up, her W are back up, uncatchable. I could really do without this champion. Remove her. I don't think there's any saving to Bel'Veth. I like Void champions. I love Void champions. Bel'Veth? Fucking mistake. Get her out of here, bro. Get her out of here. Okay, next up, Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is a difficult topic. Because Blitzcrank is hit or miss. If he hits his Q, you fucking hate him. Because there's no counterplay then. He hooks you in from a huge range, then knocks you up. You can't get away from that knock up after he hooked you in. Right? And then just the entire enemy team dogpiles on you. But if he misses his Q, that's the end of it, right? Then he has to wait for his cooldown. Which is pretty high in the early game. Late game, he's a super huge catcher. Late game, his Q has like 8-second cooldown. Early game, it's 18. So, I kind of like Blitzcrank. He has a lot of build variety, right? And I feel like there's enough counterplay to his Q. I wouldn't put him in an annoying tier list. Matter of fact, compared to the other hook champions, like Nautilus and Pyke, Blitzcrank is probably the nicest hook champion to play against. He's very straightforward. I'm gonna put him in the oh hey pal tier list. Alright, next up, Brand. My opinion about Brand would probably be a lot more hateful if we were talking about a few patches ago, before he deservingly got a lot of nerfs. I feel like Brand is fine because his kit gives him 0 mobility or survivability. The only thing he has is a stun, which is a skill shot, and he also needs to apply a burn to you first. So if you put pressure on Brand, you can run him down. He needs like good peeling from his team for him to be able to survive. I don't find him as annoying as most people do. I think most champions would put Brand very, very high on the tier list. Me personally, I don't see it. I see him as like a weaker Aurelion Soul. Aurelion Soul just straight up rushes Rylai's Crystal Scepter because Aurelion has enough damage. Right? On Brand, you kind of want to go Liandry's first because you need your damage. And you need it to clear your jungle, to be able to fight enemy champions. Even if you apply Rylai's on an enemy champion when you're playing Brand, that's not a guarantee for you getting away. It helps you chasing, and it gives you a little bit more survivability by slowing the enemy. But unlike with Aurelion Soul, you can't just fly over walls, right? So yeah, like I said, he's kind of like a weaker Aurelion Soul. To me, he's alright. To me, a Brand is alright. I get that a lot of other people would put him higher on the tier list. But not for me. Not for me. Alright, Braum. I don't think there's much discussion to be had. If anyone ever said that Braum is broken, that's straight up delusional. It's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure to play with or against a Braum. If you're playing against a Braum, it's very easy to counterplay him. And if you're playing with a Braum, he's just super wholesome because he constantly tries to set you up for kills or protect you if the enemy tries to kill you, right? Riot tried to create this wholesome champion who always goes like, stand behind Braum, right? And it just worked. It worked. It perfectly translated into his kit. And I would love to see more Braum on the enemy team and in my team. Absolutely. Braum players are honestly bigger chats than anyone. Oh yeah. If somebody mains Braum, I would instantly have more respect for them. I will never forget how I talked to like a new friend of mine a few years ago. I didn't know he played League of Legends, and we randomly stumbled over the topic. And I was like, oh, what rank are you? And he was like, Diamond. And it was back in the day before Emerald was a thing, and I was Platinum, right? And I was like, oh, he's Diamond. Damn, he's higher elo than me. I instantly had like, oh, I kind of respect him for that, right? And obviously, the next question is, what champion do you main? And then he said, Yasuo. And it was instantly like, First the respect was here, then it's here. Still have a little bit of respect for that, but if you would have said Braum, my respect would have been even higher. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why we're doing that tier list. Anyway, next up, Briar. Briar used to be insanely cancerous when she had the lethality item build. That being said though, unlike with Aatrox, Riot actually managed to delete her lethality build. There's no more lethality Briar. If you see Briar right now, she's playing on hit and she's playing bruiser items. She's very straightforward, therefore very easy to counterplay. Like I said, the only time I had a problem playing against Briar is when she had lethality. When lethality Briar was a thing, but that's a thing of the past. I have nothing against her. I really like this vampire child design, you know. I wouldn't be mad to see her more in my game or the enemy team. Briar's one weird spot right now. I think she became the coin flipper champ. Elaborate on that. What do you mean? So it's like a 50-50 if she's gonna perform or not? I think Briar players just need to know their limits really well, because they have to go all in. There's no like in and out gameplay with Udyr. There's certain champions like Kled or Warwick or Briar that just have to constantly go in deeper and deeper, and if shit hits the fan, they're just kind of dead. They just need to know their limits well. If a Briar feels like she's coin flipping, then she just doesn't know her limits. Or the limits of the enemy champion she's playing against. Either heals the entire team or struggling the whole game. Heals the heals the entire time, you mean, right? Struggling the whole game. Yeah. Well, maybe that's biased from me again, but if I'm playing Udyr against Briar, it's the easiest matchup ever, right? I just went frozen hard and face tanked the fuck out of her. Or I stat check her with my Q max. Or I just slow her down with my awakened R and walk away and she can't catch up because she doesn't get in Q range. There's like a million ways to counterplay her as Udyr, so I've never had a problem against her. My keyboard ain't keyboarding. Don't worry, I see what you mean. Okay, next up, Caitlyn. Lethality Caitlyn was also a bit of a problem, but not anymore. I feel like Caitlyn has a lot of counterplay. Her E is very sidesteppable unless you're in melee range. The slow is not that strong. Her W is sidesteppable. It's the traditional kind of AD carry that you have to do a lot of auto attack and then walk kiting. There's no like get out of jail for free cards like with Kaisar. She has like an invis and an ult dash that gives her a shield. With Caitlyn you gotta put in the work, and if you don't, you're just kinda getting run down. Any AD carry that has counterplay like that is okay in my book. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'm not mad about Caitlyn ever. It looks like I'm okay with way more champions than I'm hating. We started hating a lot at the start, and then it just kind of moved over here. I'm curious. I'm curious to see if I'm gonna hate more champions or love more champions. It's gonna be interesting to see once the tier list is finished. Alright, next up we got Camille. Yeah, Camille luckily doesn't get picked that often anymore. She used to be my permaban before I started banning Aatrox, especially during the Mythic era, where she would go Divine Sunderer. She was an absolute nightmare. She still is. I think she gets way too much shit for free. Her Q deals way too much damage. It's 2 auto attack resets. I don't even know another champion that has 2 auto attack resets. Everyone gets 1. That's the rule. Garen has his Q. Darius has his W. You know. Jax has his W. Kayle has her E. Everyone gets 1. For some reason, Camille has 2 auto attack resets. Make that make sense. And then the second auto attack with her Q deals true damage. That's never a fun time. That's never a fucking fun time. Her E lets her move across the entire fucking screen. She can buffer over hard CC with it. It should be way easier to interrupt. No, I hate her. I hate her. I would put her in the wish I had another ban tier list right now, but only because I don't see her very often. If she would be meta right now, or more, or just more popular with more people playing her, it's remove that champion. And I think it's only a matter of time until that happens again. It's only a matter of time until I start seeing her again. And right now, I gotta ban Aatrox. So, I don't really have a slot open to ban Camille, so I'm gonna have to endure. Yeah, let's hope that time never comes. Kate is like the ADC along with Jhin and Jinx. The trifecta of different types of AD carries. I feel like Jhin is very similar to Caitlyn. But I do agree that Kate and Jinx are kind of like core opposites. Which makes sense. Like, there's the Piltover ADC and the Zorn ADC. One is like very toned down, simple, one shot after the other, take it easy, chill, look at it from afar, and Caitlyn is, let's go fucking in there, let's chase him, let's go ra-da-da-da-da, right? There's the extreme core opposites. Alright, Cassiopeia. Very special case here. Cassiopeia used to be a mid lane champion, and there's still a lot of players playing her mid lane, but as it stands right now, when you see a Cassiopeia, most of the time she's abusing top lane. There's a lot of counterplay against AD range top laners. You can go plated steel caps. You can go Thornmail, Frozen Heart, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do. Against Cassiopeia, it becomes a whole nother thing. There's not good magic resist items you can rush against her without fucking over your entire item build. On top of that, she gets to be very tanky, damn near unkillable, by going... Excuse me. By going Rod of Ages into Seraph's Embrace. She gets a bunch of health, she never runs out of mana, she gets this massive fucking shield when she's low, right? Even if she plays just a decent lane, she outscales you. She doesn't even need to win the lane. She's an absolute scaling monster. In the core, this champion has a lot of counterplay, right? I really like how you can counter Cassiopeia's ult by turning around. That is the ultimate skill check in League of Legends. If you can time that shit, turning away from Cassiopeia when she ults to not get petrified, that's amazing. That's so fun to play against, right? If you sidestep her Q so she doesn't get the reset movement speed on her E, that's also nice. But on top lane, oftentimes you don't get to have that counterplay. I wish she would be more on mid lane. I think I'm gonna have to give this one wish I had another ban. Usually I would put her right down in the middle. But as it stands, she is constantly being picked top lane and it's very toxic for the game. I wish Riot would make her more viable for mid lane. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Next up, Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is interesting. He has a lot of build variety. You can play him tank. You can play him full AP. I've seen people play him cheese with Hail of Blades. A lot of champions, players are starting to play this champion as a bruiser. Like Trinity Force has been on the rise. To give him more movement speed, right? Similar to Blitzcrank, he's very hit or miss. If you manage to hit your Q, great, you are a champion. If you miss your Q, you're kind of trash. With Cho'Gath, it really depends on how much you counterplay against him. Will you give this guy stacks? Will you let him stack? Will you let him hit Qs, right? If you let these things happen, he can be a menace, but not something that you can't deal with. Nowadays, there's so much max health damage in the game that every tank cannot be picked as a blind pick anymore. You always have to watch out. Do they have Gwen top lane? Do they have Kindred or Viego jungle? Is there a Kaisar AD carry, right? And even if they don't have any of these max health shredders, can this champion build Blade of the Rune King, maybe? Can they go Liandry's Torment? Can they go... Well, Lord Dominik's is not a tank shredder anymore, but you get what I mean, right? So, there's some tanks that have hard to dodge hard CC, like Ornn, for instance, or Galio over here, and they get to exist because of that. Cho'Gath only has one hard CC, and that is his Q, and it has a lot of counterplay. I wouldn't be mad about seeing him more. I'm thinking about... Yeah, I'm gonna put him at... It's been a pleasure. I can't remember the last time I was ever annoyed by a Cho'Gath. No, I don't think I've ever been. It's a cool champion, and I don't think he's OP or anything like that. Next up, Corki. Corki's in a weird place. He's changing a lot recently. It used to be like an hybrid AP Corki with Malignance who just spam pokes you with R. Riot, rightfully so, changed the champion to be like more AD, but they overbuffed him, and then he would just one-shot people by running into them with the buffed Infinity Edge. And now that they took that back, he's back to mid lane. He's not played AD carry as often anymore. But he's not his OP self. I'm not too opinionated on Corki right now. I don't play against the new Corki a lot. I hated the old one with the Malignance ult spam, but currently I don't have much to say. He's alright. He's alright. I don't see him too often. Alright, next up, Darius. Yeah, Darius, he's not on the remove that champion, but he's definitely on the wish I had another ban. He has to be up there, right? Thing is, I personally have Darius on Mastery 7 or Mastery 10, something like that. I play him a lot. Or I used to play him a lot, not anymore. So I'm not biased when I say this. That sometimes Darius just feels a bit unfair to play against. Thing is, it only feels unfair. I don't think he's broken or OP. His late game is really hard to play. It's just his late phase is frustrating. When he just pops Ghost and runs you down, he hits you with the point and click slow into the almost undodgeable hook. There's not much you can do. He's gonna get the 5 blood stacks on you and then hit you with that dunk ultimate for true damage, and if you don't die off of that, you will die from the bleed damage. It's never really a good time. In lane phase at least. Late game, there's counterplay to him. So that stops me from putting him in the remove that champion tier list, but Darius is definitely up there. Okay, next up, Diana. Diana used to be more annoying than she is right now. I like that people are playing her AP. She was very toxic when she had the on-hit tank item build. Luckily that is over right now. But there's some things to say about her kit. I feel like it's a bit too strong. Her dash reset is pretty much for free. Missing Diana Q is damn near impossible. So she Qs you, then jumps to you with E, and then her E gets an instant reset. So guess what? Even if you get away, she's just gonna E to you again. So most of the time, Diana just QEs to you, then holds her E, and once you try to run away, she QEs again. She doesn't even need to use the reset at E. That's just like an insurance for if you get faster away than she thought you would. Her ult has good rewarding gameplay. She needs to hit multiple targets to get more damage on her ultimate. Like the more people she pulls in with ult, the more damage it deals. That's kind of fun. But her QE gap closing, it's too point and clicky. It doesn't feel like there's counterplay to it. She gets to be a bit too tanky in my opinion, and for some reason, most of her damage in her jungle clear comes from her passive. So she doesn't even have to build a lot of AP to make her kit useful. She just rushes Nashor's Tooth, gets the bit of AP that's on that, and one-shots all the jungle camps with her passive. I don't know. It's kind of... eh. I know I shitted a lot on her, but I wouldn't put her in the wish I had another ban. But she's definitely like mid-tier. I'm not happy to see her. This right here, the Oh Hey Pal tier list, this is when I'm happy seeing a champion. I'm not happy seeing Diana. I'm not doing like lucky leprechaun jumping jacks in the air. Yippee, I get to play against Diana, right? But I'm not against her either. Okay, next on the tier list, Dolphin. I like dolphins. This one is a bit creepy. Might be unfair because it's a photo taken with a night vision camera. Other than that, he's alright, but I'm gonna have nightmares about this, so I wish I could have banned him before seeing this. Next up, Dr. Mundo. It's a bit of a special case, right? He is, lately he's been stat checking a lot of people way more than he should. He used to be a big fucking problem when Titanic Hydra used to give you AD scaling with health. I remember seeing clips where there was like a 5,000 health Mundo who had more AD than the AD carry, and I was like, what is even happening? They've taken power out of Titanic Hydra, but now he kind of just does the same with Heartsteel and other items like Blood Mail. There's also been this entire thing of Varmogs being broken. So it feels like every time a tank item gets busted, Mundo just gets to obliterate the patch. Yeah, I mean, he's the truest of all tanks. He builds full tanks and no damage. And just gets to deal tons of damage. That being said though, I feel like as long as you sidestep his Qs, you can get away from him. If he builds Iceborne Gauntlet, fair enough, he gets the slow on auto attacks and then he gets to catch you. But if he doesn't do that and he has to hit his Qs, there's counterplay to him. He's also similar to Cho'Gath. You can counterplay him a lot with max health shredding. There's a lot of max health shredding in the game. Mundo likes to build health. No tank really wants to build resistances if they don't have to. If it's open to the tank, they will try to go Heartsteel into like health scaling items. They will only build resistances if they absolutely have to. So that's a big weakness of him. I think he has enough counterplay. I ain't mad about him. I'll put him in the oh hey pal. Next up, Draven. Not much to say. Draven is fine. I don't think anyone would say Draven is OP. It takes a lot of fucking work to make plays with him happen. Like, your APM has to be crazy. You have to catch axes while kiting or running after an enemy. And you constantly have to reset your W, right? If you don't catch an axe, you don't get the W reset. You will lose the movement speed and you will probably get caught or can't keep up the chase. There's also very punishing gameplay on Draven players if they don't get a kill. For anyone who doesn't know, for every time he last hits a minion or catches an axe, he gets 1 stack on his passive. For every stack he gets, if he kills an enemy champion, he gains 1 gold. So sometimes you will play the lane phase with him, you farm for some time and catch a bunch of axes, you have like 200 stacks. So the next kill would give you 200 stacks. But if you die, you lose half the stacks. So if you die without getting a kill, there goes 100 gold. Super punishing gameplay. Of course, it's also rewarding if you manage to get the kill. But guess what? Most on-kill resets activate on assists. With Draven, it needs to be a kill. So if the support accidentally takes the kill, or the jungler ganks, but unfortunately he gets the last hit, this Draven is gonna be pissed. I kind of feel bad about that for him. I wouldn't be mad to see more Dravens in my game. It's actually very fun to see them pop off. Most AD carries in the game, they play very consistent damage-esque. This is one of the rare burst damage AD carries, and I kind of like that variety. Same with Jhin. Alright, next up, Echo. Echo I could do with a lot less. Same problem as with Akali, for instance. I feel like he's way too safe. He has 2 dashes on just one ability, being his E. And his ult is like another flash, which gives him a fat ass heal and also deals a bunch of damage. His W is worst case scenario a slow, and best case scenario an AoE stun that gives him a shield. Need I say more? Get this champion out of here. Removed, banned, gone, forever. Next up, Elise. I don't like playing against Elise. Most of the time I play Udyr, and you would think, hey, this should be similar to Ahri, right? You can sidestep her cocoon. somehow it doesn't work that way for me. The travel speed plus the hitbox of Elise E kind of feels very unfair. I almost get hit by her stun every time. It's very frustrating to play against. And what also annoys me about Elise is she has like so many different abilities, but she does the same combination every time. She sees you, she does EWQ, then R into either, if she's in range already, QW and then auto attack spamming, or EQW. It's the same combo every single time. It's very boring. And it's also frustrating if you like almost caught her, but then she just uses her E to like fly up in the sky and pretty much has a Zhonya's in her kit by being untargetable doing that. I feel like Elise would be much more balanced if they would make it that her E can only be used if she targets something. Like she needs an ally or an enemy that she can target nearby to be able to use her E. I think it's kind of sucky that she just gets to use her E for free, and then while she's chilling up there, she either picks a target, or if she doesn't pick a target, she comes back down on the same spot. But it just kind of feels like there's no counterplay to that. It's very uninteractive. She's definitely not removed that champion tier, but I could do with seeing less Elise. I kind of want to see her banned. Next up, Elise. Elise is pretty much a worse Evelynn. She has this charm, which is a complete no counterplay point and click. She gets a bunch of magic penetration for free on you. Her execute is also an ability that makes her invulnerable. She has perma invis. I mean, I don't think anyone is gonna argue with me when I say Evelynn is remove that champion. Go up there, stay up there, don't go into my games. Thank you. Okay, I have a lot to say about Ezreal, so I'm gonna grab a snack real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. So, Ezreal. I might be a little bit biased. Ezreal is one of my top 5 most played champions of all time. But that really speaks for him, because the most top 10 champions I have, 9 of them are all melee champions, and mostly juggernauts, tanks, bruisers. Ezreal is the odd one out here being an AD carry. I most of the time play him AP, but you can pretty much build anything on Ezreal. He's like the Udyr of AD carries because of his build variety. So I really like him, and I feel like when it comes to Ezreal being annoying, he really isn't. When Ezreal still used to build Iceborne Gauntlet, yeah, then you could have made the case he is annoying, but people don't do that anymore. It's just not worth it. He needs the damage from Trinity Force or like AD items like Muramana. If you want to build Iceborne Gauntlet to be annoying, I don't think it would have the same effect as it used to, because the item is a lot weaker these days. His E has very high cooldown, and it can only be reduced by him hitting Qs, which is a skill shot that is actually dodgeable. and he maxes his Q and I believe W after, or maybe E second. Fact is, he doesn't get a low E cooldown early on in the game. Very big counterplay, and despite me hating on Ahri and Aatrox for them being too often in my games because of their high popularity, same thing doesn't go for Ezreal. I see him a lot of times, and I haven't gotten sick of him yet. It's a pleasure. I'm never mad about seeing Ezreal in my games. Okay, next up, Fiddlestick. That's a whole different story. Fiddlestick, similar to Zac and Kayn, has one of what I like to call the 5 cardinal sins. He commits one of the worst war crimes, which is ganking over a wall. There's a lot of junglers that have to adhere to walking through jungle paths and like ganking through these. But there's champions like Zac that just jump over the wall with E, Kayn just straight up runs through them, and Fiddlestick will all game, all day, every day, just loom over walls and jump on you with his R. On top of that, he has one of the most cancerous hard CCs in the games, which is a fear. A stun is one thing, right? A fear a whole nother. With his ult, it's not that bad that you get feared, but with his Q it's very annoying. You will know what I mean if you ever tried to chase a Fiddlestick. Because if you chase him and he just turns around and hits you with that point and click fear, the chase is over. Like, if it's a stun and you can't walk for a second, okay, but a fear just sends you in the complete opposite direction. Very annoying to deal with. And even if you catch up to him, he will stat check you for a while with his W and heal himself to like buy time for his team to help him, or for his Q to come back up to fear you again. Yeah, I think Fiddlestick is designed to be annoying. I think Riot is happy about this, but I sure ain't. He's not the absolute top tier of annoying, but he's definitely on the I wish I had another ban. Next up, Fiora. Fiora probably is very high up for a lot of people, because she has true damage, she has a lot of dashes, and she's an annoying split pusher. I personally don't hate her that much. I almost like her, I think. Because while yes, she has a lot of dashes with her Q, she actually needs to hit a target to get the cooldown reset. For everyone who doesn't know, her Q actually has a very long cooldown, but she gets half the cooldown resetted if she hits a target. So if she just dashes through thin air without hitting a minion or a champion, her Q is on a decent cooldown. Her riposte, while being pretty broken that you can just counter every ability that comes flying your way, needs to be timed well. And for instance, if I'm playing Udyr and I run up to a Fiora in my E stance and I like pretend to auto attack her but then cancel my auto and I bait out her riposte, that's cool. That's cool gameplay. That's a mind game, right? And then I get to stun her after. So there's counterplay to her riposte if she mistimes it. Now, her true damage is a bit annoying. I'll say that. But you can also play around her ultimate by not allowing her to hit all the vitals. There's a lot of counterplay to it. And last but not least, the point of her being an annoying split pusher, there's worse offenders. Fiora is a good split push champion, but she is not as annoying as Tryndamere or Yorick in that regard. For me, it's definitely an oh hey pal. I'm not mad about seeing you, it's been a while. She doesn't get picked too often. What the fuck is the fourth thing in the second row? Why does everyone keep seeing that? Is that so easy to spot? Is it so creepy? It's a dolphin. It's a night vision camera picture of a dolphin. Yes, it's fucking terrifying. I didn't make this tier list, I'm just using it. The person who made the tier list put this dolphin here. I don't know why. But I put it up here in the wish I had another ban, so I think we agree. Next up, Fizz. Yes, Fizz is very annoying to deal with. His ult hitbox I think is way too good. His E makes him untargetable and is a double dash. He can technically go over two walls with it, back and forth. His Q is another dash. Yeah, you don't see him that often, so he's fine in that regard. But he's definitely high up there. He's in the wish I had another ban. If people would pick Fizz more often, maybe I would put him in the remove that champion tier list. But he actually has a very small play rate. Alright, next up, Galio. Galio I think is fine. He used to be very toxic when W Flash Galio was still a thing, but Riot removed that interaction shortly after the rework. You cannot flash with Galio W anymore, so there's much more counterplay to his W. If he doesn't hit his E, he gets his aftershock proc a lot later in the fight, because he has to hit his W then. So you can hit some burst on him when he's engaging and messing up his E. And he's an interesting idea for like what a counter mage could be. I'm not too mad about him. I'm gonna put him in the oh hey pal. Oh hey pal. He's fine. He's fine. I remember one time I was really annoyed playing against the Galio, but that was only because there's also a Shen in their team. They had an AD carry that was completely cracked, and every time we would try to hard engage that AD carry, he would instantly get Shen and Galio ulted. We could never touch him. It was so annoying. But anyway, that's not every Galio. Gangplank. Gangplank used to be a lot worse. That being said, he's still annoying. The slow of his E is very, very harsh. If he hits one E, he's gonna hit another, so he has a very strong snowballing effect. There's actually a very interesting short clip where I play Udyr versus Gangplank, and I pretty much play it perfect, right? He sets up a barrel, I hit the barrel before he can, he sets up another barrel, I sidestep it, and he misses it, right? And I'm still losing the fight. Like, I have to disengage, wait for my jungler to come around, and then we jump him, right? But I had to do like so much, although he didn't hit a single E on me. Which is because his passive is kind of fucking broken. It's also kind of annoying that he can remove CC with his W. He's very unique in that regard, and of course I want champions to have like a unique thing to them, which makes them special, but I'm not sure that's it, Chief. I'm not sure the unique thing about a champion should be that with a click of a button he can instantly heal himself and remove hard CC. There's worse champions than Gangplank, and he's in a better spot right now than he used to be. The Gangplank meta back in the day was an absolute nightmare, but he's definitely in the I wish I had another ban. It's not a pleasure playing against him, that's for damn sure. Next up, Garen. Garen is an interesting topic, because there's a lot of Garen hate floating around recently. And I get it, the champion is overtuned. The problem is, it's one of these easy breezy stat check champions for new players. He's so straightforward. You can, like, he just uses his Q, he screams charge, he runs at you, he hits you. That's his whole deal. He's a very simple champion. So he should be easy to counterplay. But there's one thing that makes him broken, which is his W. His W lets him stack a bunch of armor and magic resistance, and if he actively uses it, he gets a shield and a very strong damage reduction. This leads Garen players to just build full damage with builds like Stridebreaker into, not even kidding, fucking Phantom Dancer Infinity Edge. And he's still gonna be a lot tankier than a lot of champions in your and the enemy's team with just a well-timed W. That makes him a bit toxic, but with the right champions you can counterplay him. He has the same weaknesses as other melee champions without any dashes, that he's prone to hard CC and good kiting, shredding, all that stuff. I neither hate nor love him. I play him sometimes, and I always have a good time with him, but when it comes to having him on my team, I'm kind of neutral about it. He's alright. He's right down in the middle. Next up, we got Gnar. I don't see Gnar too often anymore. I used to be very annoyed by him. When I played top lane with Udyr, I usually had like a certain build in mind that I wanted to do. And Gnar is one of these ranged top laners who's like, you have to go second wind, you have to start Doran's shield here, or I'm gonna eat your ass, right? He's such an oppressive ranged top laner. But I've recently come up with the anti-poking Udyr technology, and ever since I never had a problem with Gnar again. It's so easy to counterplay him now with my anti-top laner build, anti-range top laner build that is. So to me he's not annoying anymore. And I think Riot did a great job of balancing out the time he has to spend in ranged and in melee, right? If he enrages, he has to go into his melee form, and then at least for a few seconds you get to play against a melee top laner and not a ranged poker. I'm not mad about having him in the enemy team or my own team. It's always hype to see a good Gnar ultimate. I think I might actually put him in the oh hey pal tier. I could see why people hate him, because I have been at that exact same spot. I used to hate him. But I've gotten over it, I learned the counterplay, and now I'm fine with his existence. I almost welcome it. Yeah. Asked me like 4 seasons ago, he would be somewhere up here, but not right now. That doesn't go for Gragas though. I'm very biased here, because the champion I play makes it hard to play against Gragas. I play melee on-hit champions, and whenever you get into melee range against a Gragas, he will just hit his E, he can't fucking miss that spell, you get a knock-up, a disgusting stun, he runs away, he already placed his Q under you, you get slowed right after the E. Worst case scenario, this fat fuck has phase rush. Like, there's no chance of catching him. Very uninteractive champion. Gragas just throws you around, literally. And when he's done playing with you, you know, he's done. But that option ain't up to you. I didn't play a lot of Gragas myself. He seems like a difficult champion, because the timing of your Qs and Rs has to be very well thought out, even in like pressure situations. So I have a little bit respect of Gragas players for being able to pull that off. And I could see myself someday playing Gragas in the future, because I play Udyr, right? Udyr, Gragas, they're both fat fucks from Freljord. They have kind of a similar energy going on. But if we're talking just straight up gameplay, it's kind of annoying to play against. I'm gonna put him here. I wish I had another ban. If I'm playing an on-hit champion, I just wish I wouldn't have to worry about him sometimes. Next up, Graves. Graves is very annoying. It seems like no matter how tanky I build against him, he always damn near 2 or 3 shots me. He is like the rule to the exception. I don't know why. I know he builds lethality, but I don't feel the same way with other lethality champions really. Matter of fact, if I play against Rengar or Talon, for instance, as Udyr, I welcome them jumping me, trying to burst me, because they'll never be able to. And I'm really good at peeling for my team against them. Graves is just not the same. I don't know why. I feel like Graves should be a weaker lethality champion than Talon or Kayn or something like that. Because he's ranged. But he just isn't. Every time I try to run down a Graves, I get stat checked like crazy. His W, which literally blinds you IRL, is also not fun to deal with. Sometimes I wish we could go back to the old Graves. But I know his old kit is just way too ancient. And it would be crazy to rework him again into a 3rd iteration of Graves. So we're kind of stuck with what we have right now. I wouldn't be mad about him being removed. This is a bit harsh, but if I check these champions and these champions, this seems alright. I'm never happy about seeing Graves. Never. Never ever. Next up, Gwen. This is one of these champions that I can instantly put in a tier. I'm a little bit of a hate train right now. Remove that champion. Kind of the same reason as with Graves, is that she's just really good at stat checking. If you are in her melee range, it's gonna hurt. She cannot miss her ultimate, she cannot miss her Q, she deals tons of max health damage, true damage on top. Her W is a whole meme, right? Gwen is immune. So crazy. A basic ability of her makes her immune against all ranged attacks. And guess what? If you actually go into the fucking Terror Dome, aka her W, and you go into melee range against her, she still gains bonus armor and magic resistance from her W while it's on. So there's just no straight up counterplay to it. Either you don't deal damage to her at all, or you go into melee range and she will win that. She will always win that. She is very high up in the remove that champion tier list. There's a few of these war criminals here that I like a little bit more than Gwen. Let me say that much. Alright, next up, Hecarim. Finally, we have something that I don't hate too much. Hecarim is a champion that has fallen from grace a lot, I feel like. He's constantly shifting his item build. There used to be tank Hecarim, there used to be full lethality Hecarim with Duskblade, that was a bit of a nightmare, right? Right now, Dantes recently started playing Eclipse and Fimbulwinter, which is super interesting. I think I feel bad for Hecarim that he can't find an item build to stick to. He's definitely not a champion that is timeless. He has good times and he has bad times. There's a lot of counterplay to him because he's very straightforward. Yeah. I don't have anything negative to say about Hecarim. The only time I ever find Hecarim annoying is when he's being played in special game modes like Earth or Arena. Somehow then he gets to be broken as fuck. But in Summoner's Rift, nah, he's fine. He's a very cool champion. It's been a pleasure. Next up, Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger, I might be predisposed to hating him because I play melee champions. If I would be a Syndra, I'd probably be happy about playing against Heimerdinger because you can just throw around his turrets and fuck him over and outrange him, right? That ain't the same story for me. This guy is impossible to get close to. And I don't know. No, Heimerdinger's just always a bad time. Just thinking about if he's removed that champion worthy. Probably not. Probably not. As long as Heimerdinger doesn't have Zhonya's, you have at least a chance to trade 1-for-1 with him. Right? And if you spontaneously start a team fight and he didn't have time to set up turrets, he ain't that strong. He's really just more a lane bully. Or like, has good objective control if he starts setting up turrets early. So he's like, wish I had another ban. He's bad, but he ain't that bad. Hiwai. Yeah, Hiwai is very annoying. Hiwai has, what, 9 different spells? 9 different basic abilities? But it feels like he's always using the same, right? He's using his WW to clear the minion waves. He's using the QQ to constantly poke you. And I think it's QE or EE where he throws a fear at you if you try to gank him. Very uninteractive, very boring. For a new champion, like a 200-year champion, he's incredibly simple and boring. Like, I can respect what Riot tried to do. They wanted to make a champion that like mixes his abilities to create new abilities, but just doesn't work that way. If we look at like a super high elo Hiwai, maybe they experiment more with his different abilities and use different abilities for different situations. But if we're talking about the standard Hiwai experience, they use the same 3 to 4 spells the entire game, and it's just a drag to deal with. I wish I had another ban. He has a big weakness that his ult is very sidesteppable. If he doesn't like slow you before he's throwing out his ult. And you can run him down once you get your hands on him. If you manage to somehow sidestep or run through his fear. Yeah, that's like the saving grace. Next up, Illaoi. Illaoi is another one of these hit or miss champions. If she hits her E, there's no way of fighting her. If she misses her E, there's no way for her to fight you. It kind of depends on what item build is popular on her, if she's annoying or not. But one thing is for certain, when I have to lane against her, I'm rarely happy about it. It feels like I'm playing more around her than she has to play around me. Like I have to constantly watch out that she doesn't get an E hit on me. I always have to be behind minions. But I also don't want to stand in my minions because she's gonna spam Q on my wave to push me in, because once I'm under tower it's even easier for her to hit her E because I'm last hitting. So now I even have to watch out last hitting under my own goddamn turret. Right? Most champions can't poke you under the turret, but if she pulls out your soul with her E while you're under turret, she can just hit your soul without dragging turret aggro, right? So she's very special in that case. It's not a champion that I hate with all my heart, but sometimes counterplay against her is exhausting. There is counterplay against her, but it's too much, man. It really is too much. Some of my most watched YouTube shorts are me making a play against an Illaoi player, because people recognize what I'm talking about here. People know how hard it is to play against an Illaoi that hits her E or has a good ult or has a bunch of tentacles, and it's like, wow, can't believe you fucking made it out of there, bruh. So she's like, wish I had another ban, but I'm not mad about being in the same game as Illaoi. Okay, next up. Irelia. Talked a little bit about that before, right? One thing that's definitely to hate about Irelia is her Q. Her Q just feels very overloaded. Every champion needs like their bread and butter ability. That one thing that means the most to them. But it's just like it does a little bit too much, right? Whenever she uses her Q, it heals her. Every time. It just has lifesteal automatically, right? On top of that, she builds Blade of the Rune King, so it heals her even more. And when she gets a minion last hit with her Q, it resets. So there will be times where you are standing in your minion wave and she just hits the melee minions so they're low enough, and then she goes Q, 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 Q. She spends a bunch of mana for that, yes, but she gains, like, I'm not even kidding, 400 or 500 health, and it instantly stacks her passive to full, which gives her bonus attack speed and on-hit damage. And then she stat checks the fuck out of you. And good luck trying to counterplay while she's doing this Q spam bullshit, because she's dashing all over the place, and there's no telling where she's dashing next. Another thing that's annoying, which is a point I actually learned from another streamer, it's not something I came up with myself, but I definitely agree with, is that sometimes you see Irelia set up her E with her Q. Right? Her E is her stun, right? She sets one E and then the other E, and it creates this line and it stuns you. She has to be close to you, somewhat close to you, to use her E. Right? So she Qs to a minion after using her first E, and then when she's near you, she uses the other E. Then she walks you down while you're stunned, and then she Qs you, and because you're marked because of the E, she gets a Q reset, and she Qs you again, you're dead. Right? Usually it should be that she E's you, and then she instantly Qs you, and then she has the Q reset. Kind of like how Diana works. Diana can't really use her E before using her Q, because then she's just left with zero mobility. It's too dangerous. Irelia's Q cooldown is so low that even without the reset, it doesn't matter. So she's using her Q to set her E, which is a setup to her Q reset. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Wish I had another ban. It's not remove that champion worthy. You don't see her that often anymore. And you can sidestep her E. That's one big thing. You can sidestep her E. But she's definitely up there. Next up, Ivern. Remove that champion. The one thing I hate most about Ivern, and most jungle mains will be able to sympathize here with me, is that there is zero to no counterplay to when he starts counter jungling you. Ivern doesn't clear the jungle in the usual sense of hitting the camps until they're dead. No, he right clicks them, he spends a small portion of his health, and then after like 30 seconds he can one-shot the camp. When like a timer has completed. He can skip this timer by smiting. Setting this timer takes like 2 seconds. So if Ivern goes to your red buff, he right clicks your red buff, there's like 2 seconds that you could interrupt that if you find him there. And if you don't, he just smites it and it's gone. No way to counterplay it. It's just instantly gone. He right clicks it, smites it, gone. Very annoying to deal with. On top of that, his shield is a pest, bro. An absolute pest. When he E's a target, it gives the target a shield, and the shield explodes after a few seconds, damaging and slowing all nearby enemies. Now, Sion W is a good example for a shield that's balanced, because if you manage to kill the Sion shield, before it can be exploded, he doesn't get to use the explosion. Iron shield will always explode, even if you manage to kill the shield before its time is up. So it feels like there's no counterplay against Iron E. Especially because he can put it on his fucking golem and just target his golem to run into you. And you don't want to waste your abilities to damage the golem anyway, like Daisy, right? So you kind of just... He's way too good at zoning with that. Absolute remove that champion tier. Yo, Tasty Pancakes, what's up? How you doing? Right now I'm doing a tier list of the most annoying champions in League of Legends. Those up here are the absolute war criminals that I would like have removed from the game. And down here we have like the fun champions that I would like to see more. And down here in the middle is like, I'm neutral to them. I don't hate them, I don't love them. Right, next up, Janna. Janna's nice. I don't think there's much to say about her. She's very simple. She's a very old champion, right? So she's one of the most basic enchanters ever. She has a knock-up, she has a slow, and a shield, and a heal. That's about it, right? Of course it goes a little bit deeper than that. I'm sure some Janna mains would rip my head up right now for dumping her down like that. I mean it in a good way though. I like it when a champion is simple yet effective. I don't think I've ever been mad seeing a Janna in my game. She can absolutely be seen more often. It's been a pleasure to have her. What is that image right to Darius? It's a night vision camera photo of a dolphin. To signify how terrifying dolphins can be. Draven's so much fun. You actually had bad experiences with Draven? Like the champion? Not even Draven players, right? I'm not even talking about Draven players. Just the champion. I feel like Draven has to put in a lot of work for his champion to actually be good. He doesn't get a lot of stuff for free. He constantly has to catch his X's to get resets on his W. He doesn't deal a lot of damage until he has 1 to 2 items finished, so early game he's kinda whack. There's no really good rune for him. Most AD carries are happy with the runes they have. There's no perfect rune for Draven. Anyway, next up, Jarvan. I'm constantly battling between I don't want too much bias in my tier list, but on the other hand it's my tier list and it can be a little bit biased. With Jarvan I have a huge problem because with most of my melee champions that I play, his ult is like a death sentence to me. I can never get out of his ult. But his EQ can be sidestepped, there's good counterplay to it, I'm happy about that. I don't hate him that much. Honestly, he's probably a neutral. I wouldn't mind seeing him less, but I wouldn't be super mad about seeing him more in my games. It depends on the champion I'm playing. So I'm gonna put him in the middle. He's alright. You alright, kid. J4's alright, yeah. It really depends on the champion you're playing. There are some champions that don't have a problem at all against him. Like for instance, if you're playing Kayn, the second Jarvan ults you, you just Q through his ult and you're gone. It's that simple, right? But if you're playing Udyr and he ults you, you're not going anywhere. Alright, next up, Jax. I've had bad experiences against Jax because he's often used as a counter pick. If you're playing an on-hit champion, they pick Jax just so you can't really touch him. Interestingly enough, I've seen a lot less Jax players ever since his rework. I feel like a lot of Jax players just left the game. It's kind of sad. I'm definitely over being counterpicked by Jax. It's not that bad. I just have to play Phoenix, Udyr, and then it's playable. I also like to play a little bit of Jax myself on the down low, like full AP Jax as well. He's very reliable to have him on your own team. That's something we have to discuss as well, right? He can play a very safe lane phase, and he's a good split push champion. So even if he loses, he's gonna be useful. He's alright. He's alright. I wouldn't mind seeing him a little bit more often. Jace, whole other story. Don't completely hate him, but he's definitely up there. Jace gets too much shit for free. He has max health damage in his kit that deals magic damage and his point and click knockback. His melee E is way too broken. His entire kit deals physical damage, and just to a fuck you to all League of Legends players who would like to build armor to be able to tank against Jace, who's building armor penetration anyway, he has magic damage on his E that scales with physical. Like, it scales with attack damage. How broken is that, man? I hate that guy. Absolutely hate Jace. Also, he has the same problem that Elise has, is that these shapeshift champions seem to always use the exact same combo. With Jace, it's always WEQ into melee form, WQE. It's always the same. And some auto attacks in between, of course. But it's always the same. Very boring. 1 second, guys. There we go. Just had to ban the bot. I don't mind the bots, but if they send in links, it's like super harmful. Don't click on any links the bots send in. Okay, where were we? Jhin. Jhin is fine. I don't feel like he's broken. One thing that annoys me is that he's being picked way too often. I could deal with seeing him a bit less. His popularity is kind of the bane to my existence. Like, I want every round of League of Legends to feel fresh, to feel like a new game. If you play a game and you lose, and you instantly queue up, you don't just do that because you want that win, right? That's one of the reasons, right? We queue up because we want that win, we want that good feeling, right? But we also queue up because in our head we're thinking, wow, that was a shitty experience that I just had with League of Legends. I know League can be fun. Let me queue up again and see if I can't get that fun experience. And champions that are too high in popularity, like Jhin and Aatrox, kind of destroy that. Because you go through the same experience you just had. Every League game should feel fresh, but if the same champions are picked over and over and over again, they start to get annoying. Now, like I said, I don't think Jin's kit is OP, and he has enough counterplay, so I'm not gonna put him on the hate list, but I wish people would pick him less. He's neutral for me. There is no way you don't fiddle kids with that mustache. I think you're a little bit jealous, bro. I think you're a little bit jealous that I am the IRL Draven. But if you wish to project any of that onto me that you are feeling, that's okay too. Do you have anything to say about the tier list we're making? What's the champion you hate the most, bro? Now don't say Draven just because I called myself the IRL Draven. Okay, next up we got Jinx. Jinx is one of these champions that can be really frustrating to play against because she profits off of your teammates' mistakes. She gets those resets, right? everyone had this situation happen before where you would have escaped a situation, but then a teammate that is behind you dies and Jinx gets that fat fucking movement speed bonus and then catches you in the end. Or you would have gotten away, or you would have killed Viego, but Viego kills one of your allies and he gets his ult reset, right? Those champions can be frustrating to play against. That being said though, if we're talking about Jinx in a vacuum, it's just Jinx without your allies or without the enemy team. Just you versus Jinx. There's so much counterplay to her. Her W is very sidesteppable. Her E, you can even run over for a few seconds while they're still setting up. Okay, not seconds, but you know what I mean. Yeah, like, she's not as good as a kiting champion without her passive. She needs that kill. If she doesn't get that kill, she's kind of worthless. She's completely alright. I'm not sure I would put her in... Yeah, you know what? No, that's fine. Yeah, I would put her in It's Been a Pleasure. The only, like I said, the only real bad experience I have with Jinx is when my allies die to her and she gets those passive resets and she's like on crack. But that doesn't happen too often, and it's kind of what Jinx is supposed to do. Zoe maybe? Nico is S tier cancer? I definitely agree with Nico. I don't know about Zoe. I feel like Zoe's bubble, if you have vision on Zoe, she doesn't surprise you. The bubble is very sidesteppable. As long as she doesn't hit the bubble, there's not much she can do. Nico, however, yeah. Nico literally broke the game. Because of every time Nico is in the game, you have to count minions. Like, you cannot even trust enemy minion waves. If there's like one mage or melee minion too many, you already know, fuck. That is Nico. She's about to run at me and E-ult me into fucking oblivion. Literally game breaking. You have to change your entire way of playing the game when Nico is in it. I wish people would get a bit more creative with the Nico, how do you say? The juking, right? The outplays. Because Nico can transform into way more than minions. She can transform into plants and jungle camps, stuff like that. But most of the time it's not worth to do these kind of jukes on Nico. Because you can only do that in the jungle. And what are the chances one of the enemies is gonna go to the jungle camps or to a jungle plant? It's much more likely they're gonna farm a wave or be on lane. Especially solo. So the game kind of forces Nico players to constantly go for this cancerous minion outplays, where she's hiding in a minion wave. Where would I put Nico? As much as I hate her juking ability, if you're like not half asleep, you can definitely see her jukes coming. Her E is very sidesteppable. She doesn't get like a safe combo on you. It's probably neutral for me. It's probably neutral for me. Like, all of this, right, the Oh Hey Pal and the It's Been a Pleasure tier, is champions I want to see more in my games. All of these champions I want to see more in my games. Nico, I don't want to see more in my games, but I don't hate her, because she has enough counterplay. It's a bit exhausting playing against her, but I mean, that's fine. I actually don't hate her that much. I bet if she was in a lot more games, she would be like in this tier. But she's not picked enough that I could hate her that hard. Kai'Sa is a whole different story though. Kai'Sa is a very popular champion. She's constantly being picked. And she's one of the main reasons that I can't play tank item builds on Udyr and other champions I like. For instance, I really like to play Udyr and Hecarim, just for instance, right? Udyr and Hecarim are usually bruisers. You can play them very damage heavy, but you can also play them like full tank. And I like to like tank and frontline for my team. But when there's something like Kai'Sa in the game, she has mixed damage, aka AD and AP damage, and she has max health shredding, right? It's impossible to like build tank against them. She like forces me to play a different item build. If I play against Kai'Sa and I'm a Udyr, I kinda have to play AP Udyr. There's no other option, and I hate that she does that to me. No champion should be able to force that hard. I think she's very high up. She's very, very high up. She's removed that champion. I could really do without Kai'Sa. I think she's overloaded. She gets too much. What elo are you playing in? Diamond. I'm low diamond. I want to invest more time this split, so I can try and get master. I haven't been master yet, but I just don't invest the time. Last split I had 20 games played. I play a lot of normal games just to play fun item builds. Ranked is a little bit too stressful sometimes. And I feel like, because I'm a little bit of a tryhard when it comes to ranked, that when I play ranked, I have to play the perfect item builds. I can't fuck around too much, right? So that's why I play more normal games. But with this new split, I'm gonna try playing my for fun item builds in ranked and see how far I can get with it. I can definitely reach diamond with them. Again. With the split reset I got put into emerald. But I can definitely go back to diamond with my for fun builds. Don't know if I can reach master though. Then I might have to try hard build again. With like Liandry's Deadman's Blade, Udyr or something like that. Alright, next up, Kalista. Kalista is an interesting thing. With a good peeling support, she can be damn near unstoppable. On her own, she's very weak. She can do a lot of kiting, but if your champion has a slow, you can just completely turn off Kalista. Her dashing passive is completely useless because it's bound to her attack speed, how fast she can attack. And if you slow her, she's gonna like dash in slow motion. It's like, once you hit that slow on her, she's not a champion anymore. It's kind of like a hit or miss. If she gets to be outside of your slow range, you can win. If not, she loses, right? That being said, I don't want to see her more in my games. She's definitely neutral. I don't want to see her more in my games, but I don't hate her. There's enough counterplay against her. Alright. Next up, Karma. And just in case Kalthrek is still here, I of course have to give that champion a very good rating. Kappa. Nah, but not gonna lie, I have nothing against Karma. I think Karma is an interesting example for enchanters, because she is like the highest damage enchanter support in the game. She's almost a mage. There have actually been metas of full AP Karma in the mid lane. I think those are very fun. When Karma's played full AP mid lane or as a poking support, she's pretty cool. She only gets annoying when people play her top lane with Grasp of the Undying just to be a cunt. But fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. I survive harsh truths. Well, you don't have to worry. I wouldn't rate Karma low. She's definitely not the highest of all tiers, but she's definitely oh hey pal. I'm not mad about seeing more Karmas in my game. Absolutely, she's fine. She can be a little bit annoying if you're playing a melee champion and you try to gap close to catch her. She uses her root, and then it's like, oh, do I disengage now to try and separate the root? Or do I try to get close to her before the root snaps and like stuns me? And I can stun her before that happens, right? It's like with Udyr, I have that very often. If I get to be in melee range, I can still stun her. But maybe I won't make it. So it's like, is it worth it to keep chasing? Malignant's Karma gave me disease back in the day. Yeah. On release, Malignant's Karma was a bit of a problem. For sure. But like it's not that bad anymore. Alright, what do we have next? Karthus. I feel like Karthus is actually very like fallen from graves. I want to show you something. Karthus used to be like way stronger. When we think of Karthus, we think of this big ass ultimate that just one-shots an entire team, right? Well, look at this. His ult has a 75% AP scaling, and it used to be... where was it? Wasn't too long ago. There was like a big Karthus jungle meta a few seasons ago, and then it got a fat fucking nerf. Where is it? Oh my god, it used to be 65. They nerfed it even harder then. It was like at 80 or... Where was it? Was it this long ago? Wait, am I coping? AP ratio reduced 60% from 70. Wait, is 75% his all-time highest scaling on R? Am I tripping? Wasn't his R like 80 or 90% AP scaling? AP ratio increased 75%. AP ratio reduced 75. Oh, maybe they nerfed his base damage. It might have been the base damage and not the scaling. I might be tripping. Anyway, to me, Karthus ult doesn't feel as strong anymore as it used to. I think there's a lot of counterplay to Karthus. If you manage to kill him before he gets too close to your team, his passive is kind of useless because you can just wait it out. If he is the jungler, he can actually not afford to die. If he's the mid laner or top laner, or support even, or AD carry, he can play all positions actually. If he's anything else than the jungler, it's fine for him to die because he has a lot of objective control with his zoning. But he can't use smite. So if he's the jungler, he actually needs to play super safe. And most of the time people play him jungler, so I feel like that keeps him in line. I would like to see him more, honestly. I have nothing against Karthus. I even got a Karma tattoo. Oh my god, I'm down bad in the spiral. No, I bet the Karma tattoo goes hard as fuck. Maybe one day I'll get a Udyr tattoo. I wouldn't count that out. Depends on if I'm gonna play the game for that much longer. Because I for sure can't get a tattoo while I'm in my police studies. But when I'm like a fully fledged police officer, then they won't give a fuck if I get a tattoo. Alright, next up, Kassadin. Kassadin is definitely high on the hate. I have made a lot of bad experiences with Kassadin. Because if he's in the enemy team, it feels like he's always hard carrying. Once he hits that level 16, he just absolutely demolishes your team. But if he's in your own team, they always want to FF. It's like they don't realize that they're playing a scaling champion and they shouldn't perma FF when they're like level 9 and only one item. They legit buy Rod of Ages and a tier item too, and then wonder why they can't win lane phase. It's like, bro, oh my god. We could really do without Kassadin. We could really do without Kassadin, I feel like. When kids see a bro in a police uniform, they're gonna run for their lives? Man, what's with the hate, bro? I'm gonna be a banger police officer. Dude, this mustache and sunglasses? Dude, the respect is gonna be insane. People will see me and think the situation is under control. I'm gonna be the fucking everyday hero. Just you wait, man. Hope you're having a good time there, Wild. It's amazing. All the professors I'm learning under, they all have a lot of practical experiences. Most of them have been in the police force for like 40 years. And now that they're retired, they're like, okay, I'll use this knowledge and teach the up-and-coming police officers. And there's this one guy that we are learning like law from. And he has been a lawyer for 40 years. And he's a retired lawyer now. And it's so cool. When he is like talking to the class, he's walking through the classroom and like telling us about a case or telling about any rules or paragraphs. The hand movements and gestures he does, it's like he's actually in a courtroom and you're the jury he's trying to convince. Like, you can tell this guy has worked as a lawyer. It's so cool. It's so fun. Alright. Speaking of fun, let's get into Katarina. I don't see this champion as toxic at all. Maybe that's because I have a long history of playing Udyr versus Katarina. But every time Katarina jumps in, I feel like somebody has to have hard CC up to just instantly interrupt her ult, right? There's a lot of counterplay to it. One thing that's very frustrating about Katarina is that I feel like no matter what I do, she's not really gankable. When she's in the mid lane is really short. She has a quick way to the turret. If she has a minion wave coming in, she can E to the minions to be instantly out. Even if she doesn't have minions to jump to, she can use her W to get a movement speed bonus. And it seems like I can never touch her. If I catch Katarina jumping one of my teammates, and I can collapse on that as in like a counter gank, then it's great. So there's counterplay, you have to time it really well. But outside of that, you know, it's okay. Yeah, it's also fun to like play with her. Like, you can offer yourself on the other side of a wall for her to jump to you, right? To like get her out of a sticky situation. You can also set her up to get like kill resets. She's fun in the enemy team because there's counterplay against her. And she is fun in your team because you can help her to have less counterplay for the enemy. I would like to see more Katarinas in my games. Hard job though, as you know. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. I know there's definitely downsides to becoming a police officer. There's like depending on what type of police work you do, you might see some really fucked up shit, and it's of course very dangerous. But we get trained for all of that, and I think the upsides definitely outweigh the downsides. There's so many upsides working as a police officer. Like, the pay is really good, the colleagues are really nice, and the work is probably the most interesting work on the entire planet. Every day is gonna be different, and you get to work on all these cases and shit. Lock up some fucking bad guys. I can't wait, man. Alright. Next up, Kayle. Similar to Kassadin, actually. You know what? It's pretty much Kassadin. We can just put that up here. Yeah. She just waits until level 16 and then she eats your entire fucking team. Doesn't matter if you have armor, magic resistance, health, invulnerability, she will kill you. Yes. Even through invulnerability, she'll find a way, dude. At level 16 this champion is different. But that won't stop Kayle players in your own team to be tilted before even reaching level 16. Although, I will say, it happens less than with Kassadin players. Kayle players seem to be a bit more wholesome. That's probably because they're top laners and they're used to being abused by counter picks. That being said though, I hate playing against her. I kinda hate playing with her too, because Kayles are very egotistical when it comes to their ult. I feel like some Kayle players don't even realize they can use the ult for their allies too, not just for them. Yeah. Remove that champion is maybe a bit harsh, but I can't help but see the parallels to Kassadin. Oh, here's another contestant for remove that champion, Kayn. Kayn? Guys, what can I say? I mean, the walking through walls, the dash that has 2 damage instances for instant Conqueror stacking and a bunch of damage, that has a 3-second cooldown. What do I need to say to even convince you of saying Kayn deserves nothing but being removed from the game? That's an easy remove that champion. Alright, next up, Kennen. Kennen. You know, despite him being a ranged top laner, I don't see him very often. And it's not like Kayn players are playing... Kennen players are playing around winning the lane. They just want an even or decent lane phase and then win team fights later. Kennen players are all about team fights with their ultimate. Kennens are different from other ranged top laners. I bet there would be more mid lane Kennens if Kennen would be a better roam champion and he wouldn't have such issues being zoned out by many of the other mid laners. Kennen is only top lane because he doesn't have a space in mid lane. If Riot would change him so he would be better for mid lane, I bet people would play him there instead. Many ranged top laners like Akshan and Vayne and Cassiopeia, they only play for winning the lane. They don't care about the late game. Kennen does though, and I feel like despite him being a ranged top laner, that makes him kinda wholesome. I don't need to see him that much more often, but he's definitely in the oh hey pal tier. Red Kayn is okay, but blue... They both have a certain kind of cancer to them. The mobility of blue Kayn is very annoying. And I think that's definitely the worst part about Kayn, is that he gets even more movement speed on his E. And he gets lower cooldown on his E, so he's just constantly running through walls. He's on the entire map at all times. Red Kayn doesn't have that, but Red Kayn has max health damage on his Q and R. And as I said before, I really hate max health shredding champions, because it stops me from playing tanks. I would play tanks way more often if there would be less max health threat in the game. So I don't know if I would hate blue Kayn more than red Kayn. It's kind of even for me. But I can see why you would hate blue Kayn more. They both have their reasons. How much champions do we have left? Oofa. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 8, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have... Oh my god, how do we have 100 champions left still? Really? I think I've been talking too much. This is still 100 champions? Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna rapid fire a few more. And then I'm gonna call it. I think we have to make this like a 2-part stream. I can't do the entire tier list in one stream. We're gonna be here like for 5 hours. And I have to get up in the morning. Alright, let's do a few more champions and then call it. Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix, to me, is very annoying to play against because of his invisibility spam. Invis in general is very tough to deal with. If you are a champion that only has like point and click or on hit, he has literally invulnerability when he uses Invis. Yeah, I wish he would have a bit more build variety as well. I really liked it on Kha'Zix release when people played more bruiser items on him. Like Ravenous Hydra Muramana used to be the main build on Kha'Zix back in the day. But that was back before lethality was even a thing. And now it seems like if you build anything but lethality, you're kind of just griefing. Yeah, I wish bruiser would be more of an option for him. I'm not neutral on him, actually. If I see him, it's kind of annoying. I know I can't contest anything against him early, because he's gonna stat check me. So, I wish I had another ban. He's a bit on the low. It's gonna be a long video. I'm not gonna make this one a video. I'm just gonna keep this on streams. This is the first time I make the tier lists live. The other tier lists I always made offline, so that's why they're videos. But this one is just gonna be streams. I'm working on an Udyr guide right now, so I don't want to concern myself with any other videos. Next up, Kindred. Remove that champion, bro. Absolutely. Her max health threat is disgusting. The amount of dashes she gets. Her ult is pretty much a huge no you don't. If she gets caught out of position, she just gets to chill in her ultimate for like 5 seconds with a heal after that, which gives her team so much time to follow up and help her. It's like a coin flip then who dies after that. Yeah, I would be really happy if tomorrow they announced Kindred is just not part of League of Legends anymore. That'd be great. That would be really, really great. Kled. Kled, I feel like could really use a nerf on his remount. I feel like it's too easy for him to get his remount. You can never get any good kill pressure on this champion until late game when you actually have the damage to finish him off once he's dismounted. I don't hate him. There's worse. There's worse. He gets Oh Hey Pal. Kog'Maw. It's tough to look at Kog'Maw in a vacuum. I don't think I've ever seen a Kog'Maw in a game where he didn't have a Lulu support or like another enchanter support. I never see this guy with a Leona or Alistar or something like that. It's always just an enchanter support and then this Kog'Maw goes fucking crazy. Same with Twitch actually, but I feel like Kog'Maw is worse because he just deals way more single target damage. That being said though, if you ever catch Kog'Maw alone, you can definitely run him down. Don't have nothing against him. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing him a little bit more. Just like with less enchanter supports in the back maybe. Some more supporter variety. K'Sante. No comment. Get him out of here, bro. He has been reworked the 3rd time already after his release. The 2nd time, I mean, sorry. He got a 2nd rework already, so there have been 3 different instances of K'Sante, and he's still a new champion. They can't fucking fix this thing. LeBlanc. LeBlanc's very frustrating to play against. Especially if you play melee champions like me. If she uses her W to dash away from you, you have two options. Either you run after her, and she just jumps back to her W spot, or you don't run after her, and she doesn't jump back to her W spot. The end result is the same, you're never gonna touch her champion. Very frustrating to play against, but I'm a bit biased playing a lot of melee champions. She's neutral. She's neutral. Alright, next up, Lee Sin. I have some hate for Lee Sin in my heart. One thing I hate about Lee Sin's ult is that it's not just a knockback. Lee Sin's ult is a suppression and then a knockback. While he starts his ult cast, you are suppressed. You like Warwick ult or Malzahar ult, you cannot move. You cannot use anything. And then he knocks you back. So I feel like Lee Sin's like well-timed ultimate, or like him ulting you into teammates, or him jumping behind you and then ulting you backwards, all of that is slightly inflated. It's not as hard as it actually looks, because he stuns you before he knocks you back. He locks you into place. If you were able to use moves or still like walk around while he would be knocking you back, or while he is using his ultimate, there would be a way more counterplay to him. My pet peeve has always been the interaction of Udyr versus Lee Sin. When you run up to him and you try to stun him with your E, and he uses his ult. With most champions that have melee hard CC, Udyr and this other champion just get to trade their hard CCs. They just apply that to each other at the same time. For instance, Leona. If Leona with Q would walk up to me and I, with my E, I would stun her, she would stun me. Right? Equivalent exchange. Lee Sin doesn't do equivalent exchange. He takes everything and gives nothing. If you walk up to Lee Sin and he ults you, while you E him, you just get knocked back. You get suppressed and knocked back, and you don't get the stun on him. And it's so annoying. I hate that. I really, really hate that. And it's not because his ult has more range or something like that. It's really just because of the suppression. I would love if they remove that. That topped with the fact that he is a very popular pick and you see him very often. I wish I had another ban. I've seen Lee Sin so often that it's kind of the case of I've learned the counterplay because I had to, but I kind of wish I didn't need to. I'd be fine with seeing Lee Sin a little bit less. There's counterplay against him, but it's exhausting. Next up, Leona. Leona is a good example for power creep in League of Legends. All of her abilities used to have a lot more cooldown. Now she is kind of like a perma stun bot. If you don't have max health Shred in your team, she can definitely be a nuisance. But I would be lying to you if I would say she's the worst offender of the melee supports. She is pretty much a weaker Alistar or a weaker Rel. I have nothing against Leona. And one thing I actually do really like about her is her passive. That she like marks enemies and then your allies can hit the enemies to pop the marks for damage. Like a support that boosts your damage by actively attacking the enemies. It's a very interesting idea. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give her a highest tier. I wouldn't be mad if I would see more Leona instead of Alistar or Rel. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's gonna be, right? Because there can only be one support. And if I have Leona in my team or enemy team, that means it's not gonna be Rel or Alistar. It's a trade I'll take any day. Next up, Lilia. Lilia, I really, really hate. I feel she's overloaded. She has too much movement speed, deals too much damage entirely, and she's too tanky doing it. I feel like if she would be more squishy, it would be better. The fact is that even if you catch Lilia, it's most likely not gonna be enough to kill her, because she has built so much health that she's just gonna survive the burst and then run away again. Most of the time you have to catch Lilia 2 times to be able to kill her. 1 time is not enough. It's very tough to catch her out of position. That makes her super annoying. That would definitely be a remove that champion. Alright, and I think I'm gonna call it here. Next time I'm gonna work on the tier list. It's gonna be like in 2 or 3 streams, I think. We're gonna pick it up again. We're gonna start off with Lissandra. This is what we have so far. I think it's pretty balanced out. So far, I have a few more champions in the hate tier list than the love tier list. But this has been a back and forth. Sometimes I had more champions in this tier list down here. Yeah. Yep. So far, I don't regret any decisions, I think. Maybe Ari could go into wish I had another ban, but I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna screenshot this and prepare it for next stream. So we can start off with what we have here. Thank you so much if you were hanging out for this chill stream of just me ranting about champions. I'll be heading out. If you want to keep up to date with everything I do, you can follow my Twitter at wild_Udyr. You want to see some quality content, head over to YouTube, Wild Udyr on YouTube. And if you like neither of that stuff, I just catch you back on my stream. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and most important of all, stay